This production of Wandering Through La Mancha, a Quixotic tale, forms part of the project Q.Theatre, theatrical recreations of Don Quixote in Europe, co-funded by Creative Europe, a funding initiative of the European Commission. One aspect of academic interest of Don Quixote has always been the narrative structure. It begins with a prologue in the first person, which presumably is Cervantes himself. However, many of his works also have prologues that reflect kind of a quasi-Cervantes, as a pseudo-Cervantes. It's not really him, it's another character that he's created. With Don Quixote, the very first line is also narrated in the first person, but it's not another character in the story. The first line is, "En un lugar de la Mancha, de cuyo nombre no quiero acordarme." In some small village in La Mancha, the name of which I do not care to remember. But nobody knows who that I is. Who is speaking these lines? Then a few chapters in, we start to see an explanation of that Don Quixote is really a story that was originally written by an Arab historian, and that we then see the second narrator who tells us that he bought this manuscript in a marketplace near Toledo and saw that it was an Arabic script and he had to have it translated by somebody else. So the result is that we have a script that was originally written in another language, discovered by somebody else, translated by somebody else, and then at one point in that same chapter he says, and you can't trust Arabs anyway, so we don't really know if what was translated was actually the original script. So even though that might not seem politically correct now, at the time it was seen as being hilarious. So I wanted to reflect the fact that in many pieces of literature that you read, you can't trust the narrator. So in this play, each of the three acts has a separate narrator, narrator 1, 2, and 3, that tells the audience something different and tells the audience to be careful about what you've already heard because it might not be true, and be careful about what's to come because that might not be true either.